I'm Bill Incardona, along with Buddy Hall. Buddy, there are 3 players left in the tournament. The 2 players in the feature match are undefeated, Mike Sigel and C.J. Wiley. You've been in this spot many times before. How many times have you been in this spot facing a relatively inexperienced player?
Not many times.
So how do you feel C.J. Wiley feels?
He's got to feel really insecure right at the minute. Now, he's playing great. He's been playing great. But he's up there against a veteran, a guy that's been there many times, and a guy that knows how to handle that. He's not going to make mistakes. Where C.J. has a tendency, he might make some mistakes.
Well, if C.J., the type of player that he is, he's a quick player. He shoots fast.
Gunfighter.
Right. So that really should help him, because if he's a deliberate player, he may have time to think about what he needs to do, and then he can create mistakes with his thinking. But since he's a fast player, maybe just because he's a fast player, it would be helpful to him in this situation.
I see your point.
Well, Mike Sigel pocketing 3 balls on his first break, but it doesn't look like he's come up with a shot on the 1. They're kind of having a lot of fun together, these 2 guys, and I don't think CJ should be talking to Sigel, because Sigel's so accustomed to chattering and as he plays.
He wants to talk.
Sure, he does.
He wants an ear man, even if it's his opponent.
And if it happens to be CJ who responds to his conversation, that's all the more he'll like it. That is Mike Sigel, because he wants to talk to CJ to distract him somewhat. I don't think he's doing it intentionally, but of course he doesn't understand the value in what he's doing.
Right.
Do
you shoot here, Bill, or do you push?
Well, the 2 balls are positioned to the right of the foot spot, the 1 ball up table. If you happen to bank the 1 in the corner pocket, it's like a you or me shot. If you miss it, it's him. If you make it, it's probably you.
I'd give it back. I wouldn't even hesitate. He didn't hesitate.
No, he didn't. He said, "Come on, Mike, with this shot, and Let's see how well prepared you've come to the table." And Mike Sigel has a very demanding shot if he goes for the offensive shot.
He's going to try to play the cue ball down behind the 8. 3 rails, maybe the 4th rail behind the 8.
I don't know if he has the angle to do that. I think he's going to go for the pocket here, Bud. I don't know if he has the angle to play the cue ball behind the 8. Okay, well, once again, buddy, you're correct, and let's see how accurately Mike Sigel does control the cue ball. Very nicely done. It was a very difficult safety shot, and notice if he didn't get the cue ball behind the 8, he would have sold out game number 1. He had enough confidence in controlling the cue ball. He elected to play that shot. You know, that says a lot about the way he feels about his game.
Well, look at his speed. He was playing the cue ball, not the 1. Remember, sometimes when you have to play a safety and it's vital that your cue ball gets there, forget the object ball. Play only the cue ball.
And that is very, very noteworthy. Forget the object ball. Don't divide your concentration between 2 things. Play the cue ball. If that's where you're going to get paid off with, controlling the cue ball, pay attention to that area.
Look at this shot. Oh, nice, nice shot.
Okay, this looks like a 1-cushion kick into the 1. Now, believe it or not, these players right now are in tune to the table. They're in tune with the table they're playing on, and Mike Sigel probably will go indirectly into the side cushion, kicking it toward the 1. And I feel he'll be fairly accurate with the kick.
He's going to have to kick the 1 rail here because of the object ball that's sticking out there. I believe it's the 3.
Now this is a type of an angle that he should be sort of familiar with. I feel that he'll come close to pocketing the 1.
Oh, well, he hit it 2 rails. Oh.
Okay, C.J. Wiley has a great opportunity to take the early lead in the match, and it's absolutely essential that he responds to the pressure early in the match, because being inexperienced, especially in situations like this, if he doesn't respond well right now, it may hurt him, a lot.
Well, I don't see any problems here. 7 to the 8. If he gets good position on the 8, now this, I don't know about this. Well, it's fine.
If the 7 goes in the side, it's fine. All he'll need to do then is draw the cue ball to the center of the table, or to the right of center. He's in perfect line for the 8. This is game number 1. It looks like it's going to go to C.J. Wiley. Well, CJ's certainly glad game number 1's over, and it's on his side. So that's what he wanted. He wanted to take the early lead in the match, releasing some of that pressure that's inside of him. When you win the first game, some of that pressure leaves right away. It was important for CJ to win the first game, and it was important for Mike to win the first game too. For
Mike
the same
made
reason.
a great shot to win the first game, but CJ kicked his way out of it.
We have Paul Jones, the referee, racking the balls. He's from Chicago, Illinois.
Well, isn't that a nice picture?
Notice the track going to the 1 ball that the cue ball makes prior to hitting the 1 as it bounces down the table. It looks like more players are breaking from left to right than from right to left, the way we look at the monitor.
Yeah, looks like more people have broken from the left side.
So that's sort of like a telltale right there, which side of the table to break the balls from. And if you notice the left side of the table, it's much more worn over there on the left side where you break from, where you set the cue ball in that position to break from. Because as you break, the cue ball goes into the cloth at that position or in that area, and it takes away some of the green dye that's on the felt, and that's the results from it. He's having a problem racking the balls, and I noticed that on the feature table in past matches, the players really didn't have that much of a problem. And look at those hands there. He has racked a lot of balls in his life. Pat Fleming observed that Paul Jones does not have a tie tack to keep his tie pinned to his shirt. But don't worry about that, Pat, because I don't think we can call a foul on the referee. 3 consecutive fouls on the referee, he's replaced by another one. And all of a sudden, 2 balls disappear from CJ's break, and he also doesn't come up with a shot.
Right.
Like Sigel, after he broke the balls in game number 1, he didn't come up with a shot. Now CJ has not come up with a shot. But it looks like CJ sees that he has some type of a safety here.
And he's executed it well.
Again, keeping the cue ball near the side cushion. In back of the 4, and also the 8 and the 9, sending the 2 ball down toward the corner pocket.
This is the way to beat Mike Sigel, is don't let him shoot.
That's for sure.
Because you let him hit the ball, has such knowledge of the game, he can come up with something. He may kick 2 rails at this.
Well, that's exactly what he's doing. He must have heard you. Or maybe you two guys just play a lot of like one another. He's kicked 2 cushions at it, and it's left CJ a shot. It's not what you call a gimme, but it's a nice shot.
That way he can try to put distance between the balls.
I see. Setting the 2 ball up table and hopefully controlling the cue ball well enough to keep it down table.
Cue ball could have gotten behind something.
Okay, the 3 and 4 are both on the same side of the table. The 5 and up near the upper left-hand corner pocket. The balls are positioned in decent shape for CJ to run them. This is the type of layout he wanted. He wanted to get the 7 in the center of the table next to the 9. Goes in the side. And well, when you play position for the 7, you have to make sure that you get actually below the 7. You don't want to stay on top of the 7 where the cue ball has to go down this end of the table. You want to get up so the cue ball will go down the other end of the table, sending it maybe 2 or 3 cushions for position for the 8, which he's done very nicely. So therefore, he seems to be playing rather smoothly, thinking well. This is game number 2. And if there was any questions on whether or not CJ would respond well to the pressure, especially from the offset, at least those questions have been answered. Game number 2 goes to Wiley, who now takes a 2-0 lead in the match. But of course, he really hasn't had, difficult situations, to deal with where there were decisions to be made.
Right.
He came to the table, he was hooked, he kicked well, his execution on the kick shot was good, and as a matter of fact, he got a little, lucky on the kick and hooking Sigel, and from that point on, it's been relatively easy for CJ to win the 2 games. The ball seemed to be cooperating for CJ in the early going.
Maybe we should give Francine a headset, because we come up with some wonderful pictures of the audience, the expressions on their faces and stuff. If she had a headset, she could go right where we're talking. You get her pictures.
That is a good idea. You're full of good ideas. You are. I've probably said that in the past many times. Okay, CJ seems to be a little upset about how long it's taken Paul Jones to rack the balls. He seems to be a little bothered by it, which is an indication that he's a little bit nervous out there.
Guys like Paul that's been out there on the road all their lives, they find they rack the balls all right, but they rack them for 1 pocket in bank pool. They rack them very little for 9-ball.
Okay, CJ pocketed the ball on the break, and once again he has failed to come up with a shot off the break, so he's going to have to push and or else kick. He can either kick here or push, and it looks like he's going to his kicking game.
That's dangerous.
Okay, well that's the area where Mike excels over CJ, both in kicking and playing safe.
Right. Well, CJ doesn't realize, there's a 2-ball there, but in order to keep the cue ball behind it, you don't kick that shot hard. You kick it soft. And he kick it like medium speed. And when you kick it medium speed, you have to hit it exactly 100% right on the nose. Where if you kick it soft, you have room for a little bit of error.
Okay, that was a big shot for Sigel. Big shot, and he put most of his concentration in pocketing the ball, and he allowed the cue ball to get away from him. And if he would have missed the ball, it would have really been startling. But he made sure that he pocketed the 1 ball.
He'll try to get him as close to the 9-ball here as possible, I believe.
He needs to go. He's going to leave him a shot on the 2. He needed to go down to another foot or so from behind the 5. He can't do that. He's back at the table with a 2-game lead. He can see the 2-ball. I don't know if he can bank it. I don't know if it's even advisable to try a bank here.
That's right in, but he's hooked.
Okay, he played himself safe, executing the bank. But of course, he didn't think he was going to do that. Now he has to kick himself out of another jam, which he did in game number 1.
Here you just kick deep. You play the cue ball, actually. You play the cue ball to the end rail. You play a side rail and lag the cue ball at the end rail.
Well, that corner pocket is a very big pocket by kicking it.
Well, you have to hit it deep, like so. And it's worked out nicely for him. Michael just put him back behind the 9 here, I believe.
No, Mike can't see the 3. I don't believe Mike can see the 3.
Right, he'll kick behind the 3, go over across the top of the 8-ball there, and drop him back behind the 9.
Well, it's not as easy as it says.
Oh, it's much easier to say.
Yeah, it's not as easy to execute as it is for you to say.
Oh, he has to elevate to do this.
He has to masse and spin the cue ball, and now he has to try to get lucky.
Oh, he tried to jump it.
Well, you got to get out your jump stick if you're going to jump on Simona 760, because it's really not conducive to the jumping game, the 760. 860 has a little more fell or nap to it, therefore it's a little bit easier to jump with. The 760, really not the type of a cloth that you want to jump your jump balls with your regular stick. And Mike isn't one of the better jump shot players in around, is he?
Right, he's a lot like me. He doesn't like the jump shot. I like the jump shot. I just don't like the little cue to do it with. I think it's a great shot if you do it with your own cue. But on this cloth, it's almost impossible to jump with a normal cue.
Well, I'll tell you, Mike Sigel is going to have a pretty big challenge ahead of him if he expects to beat CJ, and I'm interested in seeing how he responds to it, because now CJ will have 3 games on the wire now to Siegel's none.
Right.
And for Sigel to come back from this type of a deficit, he's going to have to play awfully well. The race is to 13. Now the race in the finals is a race to 9.
Right.
So therefore, the winner of this match is guaranteed no less than second place.
Right.
Will have an opportunity to play in the finals. In a relatively short race to 9, because it'll be covered by Prime Ticket or Prime Network.
Yeah.
And they want to get the match in its entirety. So rather than race to 13 where they'll miss games, they decided to go ahead and race to 9, which puts more pressure on the players, and it really makes this match a lot more important.
What's Mike thinking right now, Billy? Is he sick?
Well, if you would ask Jose Perica what Mike is feeling right now, he would say he hates himself. If you would ask Efren Reyes how Mike feels, he would probably say he feels sick. And CJ breaking the balls really well, pocketing balls on all the breaks. Now has a shot on the one.
It has a big cluster down there.
Yeah, there is a lot of traffic down there.
5-ball cluster. But every ball there will go in a hole. So, it's a little deceiving.
Yes, the 6 may be the trickiest of the balls to get on. He's going to have to position the cue ball perfectly for the 5 to drop onto the 6 nicely, either playing position in the side. Well, that seems to be the only pocket he has available for the 6.
The 5 is touchy. See, the position he has to play on the 5 here may make it really tough to get to the 6. He may have to go across and then come into the 6 off of the 5.
I believe he should have favored the other side of the 4, playing position from the 3 to the 4. If he would have favored the other side of the 4, then the cue ball would, after contacting the 4, would have went to the right down the table.
I think he can go that way just a hair. No?
He almost missed the 4. I think he's got a big problem now.
He has a big problem. He has a very big problem.
He can't elevate, and he needs to elevate now to get back into the 6-8. He can't do that because...
That's the shot he has right there, the bank. He'll come across, play for the bank. And maybe elect to even duck, depending on where he lays. See, he may have the billiard too. The 6 across the side, the billiard on the 8.
The 7.
The 7, excuse me.
That's quite all right. I'm glad that you finally made a mistake.
He elected to duck. He's playing the 9.
He played the 9 and he ducked.
Which is a great shot.
It was a good shot, okay. But Mike Sigel was kind of happy that he did play the 9 because he trails by 3 games. He didn't want to see CJ go for the bank and pocket the bank and increase the lead 4-0. And at least now Mike feels that he has something to say about the outcome, and he has a little control now, a little more control of his destiny. I would think you have to shoot here, buddy. I don't see any reasonable safety. You know, it's not the type of a shot you want to shoot trailing 3-0.
You have to go.
High-risk shot. Looks like a sellout proposition if you miss it. But despite how you feel about it, you know, you just got to go. You just got to go. Sometimes you got to go, and this is one of those times.
He may be playing the 9 right here. He may be playing the 9 instead of the 6.
He's got to hit this very thinly. Very thinly.
Well, he's playing the cue ball. He's playing the cue ball into the 9. Look at this shot. Look at this shot.
Okay, that's vintage
Sigel.
Mike Sigel right there, okay? Notice the position of the 6 and also the cue ball. Had he not pocketed the 9, CJ wouldn't have liked this position.
Right.
But that's not what happened. Mike Sigel came up with an excellent shot, pocketing the 9 and cutting into that 3-0 lead, and he's really relieved right now because he's on the board. And it could have been 4-0. Instead, now it's 3-1.
He's got to feel fortunate to be behind just 3-1.
Oh, boy, he feels great right now. He's pumped. Now, but what he needs to do, he needs to control the cue ball on the break, because pocketing balls on the break doesn't seem to be much of a problem, at least not for CJ.
Right.
But he must control the cue ball on the break.
Last time he broke the balls, he let the cue ball get away. It went forward on him. See, that's what he has to keep from happening. If it goes forward and the 1 ball comes back, he leaves the distance of the table. The 1 went in. He has a shot on the 2.
He's got a shot on the 2, and he wants the 4 to stop, because the 4 now has
blocked the path.
Yeah, it's finally settled in a bad position, bad area on the table, and back of the 3, blocking the pocket. Now he's going to have to probably play short 2 cushions underneath the 8 and try to play position for the 3, possibly in either the corner or the side.
He may not have that luxury, but that's the shot. If he has, that's the shot he's shooting. That's the shot he's shooting.
Okay, speed of the cue ball now becomes crucial.
It's everything. He overcut it, which is the proper way to miss it.
Okay, he overcut it. Now, he really actually played to pocket that ball. He didn't play to overcut it. He realized that the professional side of the pocket was to overcut it. I feel that he put too much emphasis on that particular area. And
right. I think that a lot of players have been led astray when it comes to stuff like that. They say, no, if you're going to miss, always play to overcut the ball. Play the professional side of the pocket. In other words, you have to practice missing.
Yeah, that's not really the way he should be playing here. He should be playing to win. And it's reasons like this right here that you do play to win. He's back at the table now with a much more difficult situation than he had before. Had he went ahead and played the win and stroked it, and like he knew he was going to make it instead of what happens if I miss it, right. Feeling, he would have probably fared much better.
The corner pocket's giant here. The 2 rails in the corner pocket with the cue ball is very big. Well, he hit it way thin. He may have escaped.
It's very close whether or not he has escaped. I don't believe he may have left CJ a shot on the 2.
I believe he was trying to hit a little thicker than that, don't you, Bill?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But maybe he had in mind the same thing you had in mind, that the corner pocket was a giant.
Yes.
So therefore he played the long angle opposed to the shorter one, knowing that he could not go in the corner pocket, playing it in the fashion that he did. CJ's looking to kick once again. So it looks like Mike has escaped, at least for now.
Yes, he has. It's going to lay perfect. Oh boy, Mike feels like he caught lightning in a jug, as they used to say back home.
And he certainly did. Now the balls seem to be rolling. The balls seem to be rolling for CJ in the first few games of the match. But like we've discussed in the past, the balls don't remain loyal to anyone, and the last 2 shots is a perfect indication or example why that's true.
Here he just tries to hit it and get lucky. You don't try to pace this ball or anything. You try to get lucky, which he did not.
No, he didn't. And the balls are saying, Mike, I think that we're going to roll for you for a couple games now, but you're going to have to play good to surmount the early lead.
Mike seems a little timid.
Now, keep in mind, Mike Sigel's a great player. He's amassed many major tournament wins, okay? And when he gets into this level of the tournament, we expect him to win. But don't forget, we cannot allow this to escape us, is that Mike Sigel has been on a drought, and a very long one.
Yes.
So that has to be burdensome to some degree on Mike Sigel. He needs this desperately, particularly for his ego.
He got 3 rails here. The corner pocket's big again. Corner pocket's big again. Played it short. Actually used 5 rails. But he landed perfect.
He may have landed a little awkwardly because he didn't seem to be very happy with the results. But, of course, that's the expression he generally gives us, you know. He may be perfect. He'll shake his head like he don't like it, you know. And I'm saying to myself, oh, what would I give to be there?
Yeah.
Game number 5. Game number 5 goes to Mike Sigel, who now comes to within 1 game of the lead, 2 games to 3. Well, he stopped the ball in the center of the table the last time he broke the ball. He had to be happy with that. He pocketed the 1 on the side.
It's 3-2. 3-2 is the score. You know what he had to be really tickled to death about was the speed that CJ hit the 2.
Oh, when he hooked himself?
He hooked himself by 6 inches.
I mean, the reason he's really happy about that is because that's the sign that his angel has come back.
CJ's not a happy camper with the way the ball rolled, but he's really a good-natured guy, and he'll laugh it off and try to say, well, that didn't happen last shot when it comes his turn again.
I don't know.
Well,
who
he's
Mike's
picked him out a
to.
designated ear man.
I don't know who he's talking to, but I don't think Rick has the angle. Is he talking to David Howard? I don't think we have. I don't think we have the ability to get the angle that we need to zoom in on the person he's talking to. But Pat Fleming just informed us that he was talking to David Howard. Okay, he came up dry on the break and noticed all the balls rolling down this side of the table, but he was unable to pocket a ball on the break. But he has left the shot.
Right, positions like this really show the true character of a person's game. To come from right here and wrestle yourself into the first shot is a feat in itself. Now, if CJ can out-wrestle Mike, that's the question. If he can out-wrestle Mike in situations like this, then he has a chance. See, let it slip a little.
It certainly is a confidence builder when you know that you can play the safety game and you can be in the strategical area if you can keep up with who many regard as one of the best players that have ever played the game.
Right.
It certainly is a confidence builder.
I don't like this shot because you almost have to play at 1 rail. You have to hit it so soft that you just play the cue ball to roll because you just snibbed the 1.
Okay, as far as the...
he elected to play the 2 rail, which was the right shot.
As far as the grapple for position early in this game, it looks like the edge has gone to Mike Sigel, at least at this point.
Looks like Mike has won the battle.
He has won the battle, and he has come up with the first shot.
He's won the battle, but he hasn't won the war.
No. That's so true. How many battles have we won but yet lost the war? We all have been in that position.
This is tricky. This is tricky.
Yes, it was tricky.
He overhit it just a hair. He'll still, I believe, play it in that pocket.
The 2 balls positioned near the head spot, or actually the head spot on the table, and the 3 balls to the right of that cluster of 3 balls on the lower right-hand portion of the table.
Is he going to shoot? I guess he is. And shoot well.
Okay, but that's not the angle that he needed on the 2 to drop onto the 3. It looks like he's straight in. Now the 3's to the right of the 4 and the 8. Excuse me, the 4 and the 5. Does he have a type of an angle? Oh, yeah, he has a good angle.
He may come right into the 4 here.
The top of the 5, maybe, or the top of the 4, or try to split the 5-4.
Try to hit the 4. He'll try to hit the 4. That'll clear everything. He hit the 5 instead. See, if he hits the 4, it clears everything.
But the 4 was such a small target.
It was. It was. Well, here he just bank and stick. He bank the 3 and stick the cue ball.
Yeah, it looks like he may even roll here. Can he roll, or does he have the angle to roll?
I think he's just going to bun it. He tried to stick it. May have left him the edge of the ball.
He may have left him the edge of the ball. He has.
I'm sure he has.
He's not happy with it.
No.
He did leave him the edge of the ball.
He pulled his cue ball over a little instead of letting it come down toward the 5.
But still, well, that's the 4, and he's next to the cue ball, so therefore attaining a shot on the... well, that's carelessness. But, of course, that's the style that he plays. He's a very, very fast player at the table. He doesn't take much time in, making decisions at the table. And quite often, I would venture to say, much too often, he does stuff like that.
Mike may not have a shot to get to the 4.
He could just follow down and bank the 4, or follow down and stick him on the 8.
He may be able to hammer it over. I don't know. He doesn't like it.
If he doesn't like it, then he'll probably fare better if he goes down table with the cue ball, playing position to hook him behind the 8, or play position possibly for the bank cross side.
He could play both. He could come down. He could force his cue ball down to about the center of the table down here on the end, and play the cross side. He overhit it.
He overhit it again. Now I don't even know if he has the safety angle.
Right. He could have played the cross side and stick right there. If he makes it, he's out. If he misses it, real good chance his opponent's hooked.
Okay, he's going to have to hit this with a nice stroke and be able to stick him. He's done it very nicely.
He elected to stick.
Very nicely this time. Now, if he has taken away the side cushion, he's done a great job, but it doesn't appear that he has done that. CJ can kick to the side, and the ball lies in the center of the table. It's a very easy ball to hit, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see CJ pocket this ball somewhere.
Yeah. If he can hit the ball, that's big.
He can pocket it directly into the side. He can bank it cross-side. He can bank it cross-corner, and he can pocket it in the upper corner.
Yeah. Oh, he kicked it right in.
Yeah, there was a lot of pockets available, but the speed that he hit it with, he only gave himself one pocket.
Yeah,
there,
he gave himself just a very little chance, but that's all he needed.
Yeah, he played cue ball there. I don't know if it was wise to do that, but at this time, the 5 ball was the next ball. Well, I would have never hit it that softly.
Oh, I would have whacked it.
And now he's left Mike another nice shot, and Mike's looking to tie up the match. But this really isn't that easy of a shot for Mike. He has to half roll it here if it's lying the way I see it. That's an excellent pull shot there, buddy. He's going to come around and he's going to be in perfect line.
Yes, it is. Undecided.
He'll just cross table or somewhere in the area where the cue ball is now. There's no reason to do anything differently here. So after the first 3 games of the match went to C.J. Wiley, the next 3 go to Sigel.
The captain.
Scores tied at 3 games apiece. Captain Hook. Okay, he's certainly relieved now. I mean, at one time he was trailing in the match 3 games to 0, and we were kind of curious to see how he would respond. Well, he responded well. He did. You would have to consider, or at least feel, that CJ was a little ill-fated in the past few games. He had a few opportunities. He really didn't do anything wrong. He played some good shots.
Are these races to 9?
No, this is a race of 13. Race of 13, is that right? The format is a race of 13 with the exception of the final match. The final match is the only match that has been cut to 9. If this is a race to 9, I can just throw this book away.
Well, it's why
that happens to be an in-joke. Now, he broke him well, but the cue ball did go forward. He was able to come up with the ball on the break, but the cue ball went forward, got kissed back down the table. The 2 balls by the foot spot to the right of the foot spot. And he doesn't have a shot. Cue ball and back into the 3.
Isn't that the 2 right in front of the 9?
Yeah, that's by the foot spot. The 4 balls to the left of the 3, the 5 ball, as we all can see, the orange ball, the left side of the table.
Well, you overcut the 2 here. Overcut the 2 and bring the cue ball back up table.
Okay, that's the way Buddy sees it. And in a short second or two, we'll see how CJ sees it.
He hit it too thinly.
And let's see if what happens. Well, the cue ball got away from him. He hit it too thinly, as Buddy said. And now Mike Sigel back at the table with a nice shot. Very important to come up with this shot. This shot may be the key shot to the rack. Right here. He knows it. He's going to take his time. He's a very deliberate player.
Yes, he is.
As you become more deliberate, the more years you spend on the tour as you grow older, you become just more deliberate because you know it's...
You play a more of a deliberate pace, yeah. You get years behind you, Bill. You know yourself. You have a tendency to develop habits of playing a certain way all your life, and it just evolves into a solid format. You know, you just play a good, solid pace. When we were young, we'd haul off and hit balls and see where it stopped and all that stuff. But
showing less regard for
like they
situations.
say back in the old days, you know what I mean? You reach out and grab one of those pot-bellied stoves. You reach out and touch it. It's not long before if you start to reach out, you quit touching it. You pull your hand back.
That's exactly right. I guess that's the story of life. You know, we showed less regard for everything when we're young. We think we can jump higher and punch harder and fight stronger and fight harder and do everything better.
Right, and then as we grow older, we develop a better defense. We try to keep from being punched hard instead of punch harder. Right?
Yes. Don't tell me what I can do. You don't know what I can do. And then like 20 years later, oh, that's just fine. 20 years later, you say to yourself, 20 years ago, I should have listened to that man.
Yeah. If I'd have listened to him 20 years ago, I wouldn't have got knocked out today.
After game number 7, we have a new leader, and that man is Mike Sigel, Captain Hook. 4 games to 3.
Yeah, he spotted Tony Ellen.
Pat, I would like to request that we get a better plexiglass shield here. This one here is kind of like... Thank you.
See, got a good boss there, son. He's real flexible.
Yes, he is. At least right now he is.
He seemed to hit those kind of soft.
No, he didn't really put any velocity into that break. Not as much as he has in the other 3 times he's broken the balls.
I think that's one of the reasons that Mike hasn't shown the way that he used to show is so many big breakers out there. You know, they take the game away from you by cracking the one.
Yeah, that's very true. And also is that he's not breaking them as well as he once did.
Right.
And he doesn't really understand the urgency there. You must break the balls hard. You have to break the balls hard. And once again, CJ has come away from the table in...
Oh, he made a ball.
Oh, he made a ball.
Made a combination.
I thought that he played a safety there. So it was someone in the way of the monitor.
Yeah, he made a combination.
Okay, very difficult shot considering he has to elevate left of the table.
He hit
Nicely done.
Straight from the hip.
But he's not out of the woods yet. I don't know if he has the correct angle just to float across table. He may have to do something here with the cue ball.
He's going to get behind a 4.
And now he's behind the ball. And there's the area that Mike excels again over CJ, and that's controlling the cue ball and making sure that if he has to roll the cue ball somewhere near another ball or in traffic, he makes sure that he clears that ball, or at least gives it much more of a chance to clear the interfering ball, this time being the 4 ball. The 4 ball was the interfering ball.
Oh. He hit it. Is he going to get away with it?
He may get away with it.
He got lucky. Ooh. If he can hit it, he'll probably bank it back down table and drop the cue ball over here on the end rail. Do you spin it back a little bit, or do you let the 3 go toward the hole? I don't think you let it go toward the hole here, do you? Yeah, he played the ball to make it.
And played the ball to make it, he did. And what do you know, he made it. That was a great shot. It was a very, very smart shot, knowing that, listen, if the 3 is going in that direction, I might as well go ahead and try to make it because the 4 is right there.
Right.
You know, that's going to be the interfering ball, the 4 ball, if I play safe, so I might as well go ahead and use it to my advantage and pocket the 3, or at least try to.
He jacked himself.
Yeah,
he's up in the air.
But he's starting to feel much better about his position. This shot shouldn't create much of a problem at all. But this one may. This one may.
It proved he could make one over the ball that last shot.
But this one here is really over the ball. Only about maybe an inch or 2 at the most away from the 9 ball. Now he's really hampered. His bridge hand is really hampered here.
I think you go up here and play the ball on the side. Play the 8 on the side. Just follow it.
Okay, we've got to concentrate on pocketing the ball.
Yeah, he's trying to kill it over there. No, he come above it. Played it in the side.
Okay, now when you come with 2 shots like the shots he just came with, they are confidence builders. I mean, you really have to feel great about what you've just done. You know, and he's going to feed off of those 2 shots, and that may carry him on for the next 2 or 3 racks. And if he plays well the next 2 or 3 racks, he could very possibly just blow CJ out of the match.
Mike Sigel shoots straighter than any pool player I've ever seen, and that's including the snooker players and all. There's nobody shoots as straight as Mike Sigel. As far as pocketing the long ball, nobody hits it like Mike.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've seen Mike play a lot of pool, and I know you've seen Mike play a lot of pool. You've competed against Mike many times. He's looking over at us now. He loves what has happened, and he's very happy about it. Elated, to a matter of fact. And I feel you know every part of this game. And if you feel that he's the greatest shot maker out on the tour today, he probably is.
Do you know anyone that shoots straighter than he does?
Well, I really feel that Perica is an excellent shot maker, but just maybe possibly Mike is able to pocket balls in more awkward positions more consistently than Perica possibly, But to separate the 2 of them would be very difficult for me.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think Jose Perica is an excellent shot maker, and I've watched him play quite a bit, and he's really impressive with his shot-making ability. Okay, Mike pocketed the 5 in the side, and he does have a shot on the 1. The 2's positioned up near the upper left-hand corner, the 3 near the right-hand side, or at least on that side of the table.
Won't you give me a cup of coffee? 2 sugars. Here, he paces this shot really well. He'll come all the way to the middle of the table here. He'll let the cue ball go as far as, oops. Which was a great way to play that shot. It increases your accuracy, but unfortunately he missed the ball right after I said he was the greatest shot maker in the world.
He needed, well, probably he played cue ball, too much cue ball there. He realized that he had to get the angle short enough to go around the 2, and to get the angle short, he had to hit the full side of the 1. Hitting the full side of the 1 put that shot in a little bit of jeopardy, you know.
Right.
So therefore, that's what happened, it looks like. And in the meantime, he can consider himself quite fortunate not to have given up a shot on the 1.
That's a good way to play that ball.
And it looks like he's played it absolutely perfectly, putting the cue ball behind the 4. Now, Mike seems to have quite a bit of a problem in front of him. You know, he'll have to kick at it. Now, which way do you kick here?
I don't know. You may curve this. If you can curve this ball, you're sometimes better off curving it. He'll look at the kick. He'll look at the curve again.
By curving the ball, he hopes to hit the left-hand side of the 1, sending it somewhere in the vicinity behind the 9-6, hopefully, if he's able to do that.
Right. There's a danger here, though, in even curving this ball. You can spin, the way you have to spin the cue ball, you're spinning it right at the side pocket. So this is probably the best way to kick at it. Oh, he missed it that way. Barely.
Okay, that was a very important kick from Mike. He at least wanted to hit the 1, and he would have taken his chances from there. But by missing the entire 1, gives CJ ball in hand. CJ could just roll forward slightly about a foot, you know, ending up about 6 inches or so short of the side. Then play the 2 cushion position somewhere around where the cue ball is now for position on the 6.
I like playing this ball 2 rails.
Yes, the 2 cushion position, going deep into the lower right-hand corner, playing it 2 cushions like so. It's just too hard.
That's long.
He's hit this too hard.
Oh,
no, he's all right. I thought he hit it too hard
I did too.
when he hit it. I thought it was too hard, but apparently I was mistaken. I myself would have gotten a little closer to this ball, but of course, CJ, an excellent shot maker. And also realizing that he had the right angle on the 7 ball, even though it was a little further distance than I would like. He had the right angle at that distance, knowing that all he needed to do was pocket the 7, and he would be in perfect line for the 8. This is game number 9, and with this win, CJ will come within 1 game of the lead at 4 games to 5.
The expression tells the story of the tape.
There's one of the cameramen for a prime ticket adjusting the lens of his camera. They will be doing the finals of not only the tour event, the Bicycle Invitational, but also there's Robert Turner. He's in charge of the tournament here at the Bicycle Club. He works for the Bicycle Club.
And I might add, works hard.
He certainly does.
Always on the go.
Our tournament director, Jay Halford, has been summoned to rack the balls. It seems like Paul Jones has a problem racking the balls. Now Jay has a similar one. So when they fire Jay, who do they call up next?
Oh, I'm busy.
No, that's a nice shot of his dome. Look at that. Toupee J. Why do they call him Toupee J? Is it because he used to wear a toupee years ago? Why did he abandon the toupee?
Well, he found out that bald was beautiful.
You know, there are a lot of women that desire bald men. And I hope in the next few years I can find one of them.
You know, Billy, I saw you. You've got a lot of hair now, but I saw a picture of you.
What, I didn't have any hair before?
I saw a picture of you where you had nothing but hair. You were a hairy boy.
Well, you can't stay young forever. Okay, looks like he's come up dry. I can count 9 balls on the table.
Yes, you can.
Which means that he hasn't pocketed a ball on the break.
Well, you just got to hope here that you don't kiss the 1 in off the 2. You try to stick him here. Maybe pull the cue ball over an inch or so. Maybe even try to get behind the 5s, those 2 balls there in the corner.
If he has the ability to get behind the 5-8, then that's what he'll do.
Point.
And you got to make sure you don't make the 2 off the 1, like you said.
Or the 1 off
or
the 2.
Or the 1 off the 2. And there's little things like that happen to you when you're rolling bad. You know? But when you're rolling good, those things never happened. I mean, they never happened. And right now, it seems like the rolls are kind of like even, maybe slightly in favor of Sigel.
He's really in a spot here. You need Mike Massey for this one.
Yes, he does.
Did he? No, he missed it.
Okay, you can ill afford to give Mike Sigel ball in hand, which proves to be fatal about 97% of the time, starting from the 1 about 93.
Back when Pat done the Accu-Stats magazine, we were playing at a tournament once, and Mike had cue ball in hand like 27 times in that tournament, and ran out 27 times.
That's an incredible statistic. 27 out of 27.
Runs out every time with cue ball in hand. Just every time.
It's hard to do any better than that.
It's tough.
Yeah. Oh, the ball seemed to be laying very nicely on the table for Mike. 5 in the corner, 6 in the side, 7 in the same corner that he pockets the 5 in. Actually, the 8 in the upper left-hand corner, along with the 9 in the same pocket. He would like to attain the angle to where he'll cut the 8 into the pocket, going either 1 cushion or 2 cushions toward the 8. And he'll draw the cue ball off of the 6 to achieve the angle that he needs, or the angle that he would like to have.
Mm-hmm.
Now the angle that he has
straight.
looks a little straighter than the one I thought he wanted. So now he'll just go 1 cushion, or maybe he's forcing it 2 cushions.
I come 1 cushion back to his direction. There you
Okay,
go.
1 cushion.
Back his direction. He really has a great cue ball. Like I said, he said it like Jose Perica says it. I run out every time. 7 ball, 6 ball, makes no difference. I run out every time.
How many racks did he tell us that he ran against Morrow?
9.
11.
11?
11 racks. He says, I play payas. He says, we play 10 ahead. I run 11 racks. He said, he won ahead of me. He don't shoot no more. He's really a character, isn't he?
That's what I asked him. I said,
he's a character.
Which one's the hardest to give up, the 7 or the 6? 7 ball, 6 ball, makes no difference. I run out every time.
Now that's the break that Mike Sigel wants right there.
Yes,
2 balls in
it
the
is.
center of the table, pocketing 2 balls on the break.
And straight in on the 2.
Straight in on the 2. That's the type of break that he would like to be able to package for himself.
Yes.
If he could do that, he would never lose a match. I might never lose a match if I had that rig.
No one.
There's Tony Allen and Shelby Miller. And if they had a headset on, they could wave to us. Four ball by the left-hand side pocket. All he'll need to do then is stop or draw his ball back just slightly for position on the 5. He's getting a little closer to the 5 than he wanted.
A lot closer to the 5 than he wanted.
No, he'll play a position for the 5 in the lower right-hand corner pocket.
The 3's next. The 4's next, I mean.
Yeah, he'll play a position for the 5 that is in the lower right-hand corner pocket. All he needs to do now is stop his ball for the 6.
Here's just shoot. He should stop right here so he could come this way for position on the...
Yeah.
See, he would like to be upscale on this next shot. Upscale, just a little. There you go. Gives him an angle to go one rail out.
Yeah, run one rail right toward the 9 on the angle that he can see best, and this is it. This is game number 11. Mike Sigel preparing to go ahead of C.J. Wiley by the score of 7-4. Okay, there goes the 5 ball.
Oh, shot on the 1.
A very convenient kiss off to the 2 to the 1. Very to his delight. He says, "Oh my, yummy yum." 1 right in front of the pocket. 2 ball down table from the 1. 4 ball in front of the side, which will alleviate slightly the problem with the congestion over there. 3 ball cross table from the 2 behind the 9.
That's...
So he can clean up this rack in a hurry. It looks like this rack has a lot of congestion and complexity, but once he clears the 4, he opens he opens it up real nicely. The 6 goes in the side, the 7 in the corner, the 8 in this corner.
I believe that he'll play below the 4 here. I don't believe he'll play above it. He recognizes there could be a problem there. He'll play a little below the 4. He'll come almost straight in with the side pockets in order to go right into the 8.
Well, if he gets parallel to the 4, he knows that he can go into the 8 with the cue ball, like he said. So therefore, he'll open up the side pocket for the 6.
Okay, he hit it too hard.
He hit it too hard. Now, if the corner pocket is not open, he has a problem.
It isn't open, I don't believe. I don't believe it's open. That isn't what he was trying to do.
Okay, if it's not open, he has a problem, and how he will deal with it, I don't know. How would you deal with it?
Up and back.
Up and back. And that, once again, demands excellent cue ball speed. Did he overhit it, or did he hit it perfectly?
I think he's in great shape.
He is in great shape, and he has complete control of what's happening out there, and he seems quite comfortable in playing extremely well.
Just punch it back a little. Okay, he's in good shape. Do you draw it straight back or you use the rail?
I just use a rail and come off the rail. There's no reason to draw it back, is there?
Well, I don't know.
Well, he's drawing it straight back. His ability to recover is amazing, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I mean, he played himself out of line on the 4, yet he was able to go down table and back up, controlling the cue ball with not only perfect speed, but the direction was absolutely perfect also.
Yes, it was.
Game number 12 goes to Mike Sigel, who now leads in the match by 4 games, 8 games to 4.
This is the first time I've seen Mike really playing and having fun while he was playing. You know, I've noticed that. He didn't have a lot of fun playing Earl. He was really bared down there, but he won that match 13-11. But, yeah.
There's Mike Massey's wife, Francine Massey. And, you know, in the last 9 games, Mike has won 8 of them, so he's the fella on the roll. He has a 4-game lead, and at one time he trailed in the match by 3-0.
Yes.
Okay, now that's what he can't afford to do right there. He can't afford to scratch on the side. Now, what is that, buddy? I mean, he's broken the balls now 7 or 8 times, controlling the cue ball just about perfectly on all the breaks. Now, you get up to the table, you have an 8-4 lead, you feel good about what's happening, but yet you're unable to break the balls accurately.
You don't
on the
take
side.
that
What
couple
happens?
extra strokes. You have a tendency to rush it just a little bit. You don't take that extra bit, that extra second of time. You have a tendency to overshoot the runway. That's the way I see it. You shoot a little too quick.
Yeah, you get a little bit too careless, or you don't really put enough emphasis on the importance of that shot at that moment, or at that second. The key shot of the rack was just pocketed the 3 ball, hitting a good shot on the 4. And from the remainder of the rack should be fairly simple for him, but he still has to remain solid at the table. Keep that concentration level high. He wants to stay on this side of the 7. Now he has an option. Well, he'll just follow it now going around the 9.
Yeah, he'll follow it 3 rails, or like so.
He would like to get off the cushion and get straight on the 8, which he's done. So game number 13. Looks like it's going to go Wiley's way, thanks to the scratch in the side off of the break of Mike Sigel. Now C.J. Wiley narrows the gap to 5 games to 8. Well, how do you like it here at the Bicycle Club?
Oh,
It's such a great facility, and they really go out of their way to do things for us.
Oh, yeah, every need that the pool players have, they seem to be able to meet. Bob Turner and, well, they're great.
George Hardy, the owner of the Bicycle Club. I still would like to get at least to look at one of those women in person that surrounds him in these pictures in the hallways. And I would just like to meet one of them. I mean, they're just so gorgeous.
They are very attractive women. He's broken the balls really well here. He got a shot at the 1. Everything's laying open. He's had a chance to cut into that lead again. That's a little too far. That could be trouble.
Yeah, position on the 3 is attainable. He has to hit the 2 balls fully as he can, which he's done. Okay, now the 5
he has
ball.
to deal with the 8.
The 5 ball with the next ball, which is obviously in back of the 8. He will have to deal with the 8, like Buddy mentioned. And he negotiated that very nicely. It looks like it's almost history, game number 14. CJ will then narrow the gap to within 2 games of the lead.
Doesn't take CJ long to shoot, does it?
Not very happy about the position. I'd like him to go forward with a right-hand ball. Cross table.
He was a little below it.
A little closer to the side cushion than he would like, but workable. Very well done. At the end of game number 14, it's C.J. Wiley now narrowing the gap to 2 games by the score of 6 games to 8.
That scratch in the side. Well, I'll tell you, with the express rules that the MPBA has adopted, the scratch is a killer. Now, you scratch, that may be your last turn.
Particularly when the balls are going in on the break. You really don't want to scratch on a table that's generous. If a table is giving up balls on the break, that's the time you really want to control the cue ball, because you know if you scratch then, it could prove to be quite costly. because the table is generous enough to give you a ball on the break every time you break them, then you should be understanding and alert enough to concentrate on that break shot and come away with it with a good positive situation.
Sigel needs a shot. He may have a shot at the 9.
Well, maybe a shot at the 9 is what he would like to have right now.
He may have
the position of the 6. He maybe have to. If he deals with, he's left-handed, that's the only problem. If he was right-handed, he may shoot the 9. He may have shot the 9.
Well, see, Mike is smart enough to know that a lot of times when you shoot at the 9, that's about the only way you can lose the game.
I don't like the position he played on the 3 here. He's left-handed. He's going to have to stretch across the table. He really doesn't have an ideal angle to drop onto the 4, which is at the other end of the table.
Right.
He shot the 2 a little bit too quickly. Now he's going to have to use his opposite hand. He doesn't like that. He's looking for the bridge. He found it.
Well, he uses the bridge opposite-handed. He uses the bridge with his right hand. So why not shoot it right-handed?
He's going to need to get an angle on the 4 to come across table for position on the 5.
Isn't that funny? He plays left-handed, but when he uses the bridge, he uses it with his right hand.
Okay, now, this angle may suffice, but he's going to have to work on it. I mean, this is not something you can just throw your stick at. You're going to have to hit this pretty hard and accurately.
And he is capable of doing both. He's a shot-making rascal.
Okay, now that's not the only problem he was confronted with. The other problem is playing position from the 5 to the 6. If the 6 is not past the 9 into the corner pocket, he'll be forced then to either do one of two things, and that's to play some sort of a shot to give him a shot on the 6 in the lower right-hand corner, or opt to play the combination.
He's doing something. The combination.
It looks like he's playing for the combination, and he seems to like it. He's laughing, so it must
he's
be
having a good time.
Yeah, it must be a throw in here, this combination.
He's really enjoying playing. He's really enjoying himself.
Game number 15 goes to Mike Sigel, who now leads in the match by 3 games, 9 games to 6. Now, he's going to be particularly careful when he breaks the balls this time not to scratch directly into the side pocket, because like you said, when you get burned by that stove, it's very unlikely that you'll burn yourself again the same way.
It's very unlikely you reach out and touch the stove twice. You're right. But I have done it.
Yeah, but you must have had a good game then. Notice the position of the cue ball, straight back, stopping in the center of the table.
He's hoping the 2 would stop. Well, he's got a soft bank. Looks like a soft bank. Well, it would be a soft bank if the cue ball was off the rail a little.
The 2 ball looks like it's almost frozen on that side cushion. If it is frozen on the side cushion, a soft bank is very difficult to execute.
I believe you play the cue ball here to the back of the 6 and just knock the cue ball to the back of the 6 and just knock the 2 out in the middle of the table.
Can he get away from the 2 ball quickly enough so he can avoid the double kiss on the 2? That's the problem.
He doesn't like it. Hard for him to pull the trigger.
See, that 2 is going directly into the cushion, and it's coming back at the cue ball extremely quick.
Instantly.
Right. If he can get the cue ball out of the way, he'll try to position the cue ball behind the 6. But the kiss there is a good possibility of a kiss on this shot. All right, he went for the bank, and he struck the bank very nicely, running into the 4, and he doesn't look like he's come up with a shot on the 3.
No. If he may have a bank, he may have nothing. Now, he may have all he may have here is just thin the 3 and go 1 rail over and try to get behind the 5, leaving the 3 behind the 4. Now he's banking the 3 at the hole. Oh, Captain.
Well, I'll tell you, the ball seemed to be favoring Mike Sigel, and that was a very, very, very crucial game. This game is a very crucial game. 9-6 in favor of Sigel. CJ was really ill-fated. And what has just happened. CJ has been playing well.
Very well.
He's been hitting his kicks, but he hasn't been getting any reward.
Right. Except the first game.
Yeah, the first few games. Then that's been it.
You know, there's a young player coming up in the world that should rent a headphone every chance he gets so he could learn something about this game.
And who is that player?
Tony Ellen.
Well, Tony's kind of tight, and he'd rather sneak up on us in the booth, sit behind us, and listen in for free. No, Tony's a great guy. Tony's actually one of my favorite players, and I'm not saying that just because he's here. I'm saying that because it's the truth. And I really do admire the man's ability to play the game and his courage to play the game at the table. And it's a very personable man. Everyone likes Tony. And Mike looks like he's hit this a little bit too thinly, but he didn't. Brushing the 9, which also aided him in position on the 5. I mean, things are really going his way.
I pull for Tony almost every time he plays, except when he plays me.
Or me, right?
Or you, right. Yeah. Little reverse ball. Needs an angle to be able to come one rail up for the 7.
Okay, he'll then apply a little bit of left-hand English on the 6 ball to attain a nice angle on the 7, going in between the 7 and the 9. But make sure you pocket the 6. Very important. Oh, he came straight up. Do you like that?
Yeah, I like coming straight up.
You get a lot closer to the 7, shooting it the other way. Now this is like, there's some risk to the shot now. This is missable. And also the position on the 8 is a little more difficult to attain.
Hey, this is tough here.
See, if he would have spun the 6 and got close to the 7, it would have been history. No, he's running into a little bit of a problem here, not only with the 7 but with the 8. He's killed it very nicely.
Man, he hit that shot nice.
That's 10 games for Sigel, 6 for Wiley. And Sigel noticed, he recognized the importance at that time of breaking the balls while controlling the cue ball off the break. He did it perfectly. He was rewarded with his excellent control of the cue ball on the break, and he's won that game. Now, once again, he cannot let that thought escape him. He has to go in with the mindset of controlling the cue ball on the break, because that seems to be where the money's going to be won in this particular match. The table's very generously giving up balls on the break. He can ill afford to scratch again. Once again, notice the cue ball control. He hasn't pocketed the ball up at this point on the break, and it looks like he has come up dry.
He's came up dry. CJ has to execute a shot here. He has to draw the cue ball about 2 foot. Just sticking it won't do. He has to get it back past the 7 or the 3. I think that's the 3. He has to get it past that angle.
If he's straight in on the 1, he can do that. And it looks like apparently he has the straight in angle.
Yeah, he hit it great.
Yes, he hit it very nice. Now the problem with this rack immediately that I can see is the position from the 3 to the 4.
Well, I'm sure he would like to have been a little higher on that ball.
If he was able to attain a straight-in shot on the 3, all he would need to do then was to draw across table for position for the 4 in the lower left-hand corner pocket, or the upper left-hand corner pocket. Now he's going to have to do something very, very differently here, going up table, back down table for position on the 4, and he's got himself out of line, not only with the direction of the cue ball, but also with the speed of the cue ball.
He may play the billard here.
Okay, so things are going to start to get very tough on him right now from this point out. He's going to have to play the billiard or a safety. If he elects to go for the billiard, then he must control the object ball, which is the 4 ball.
It's tough to play safe here.
He's going for the safety here, it looks like. Or no, he's going for the bank.
Banking the ball.
He's going for the bank. And he mishit it slightly, the cue ball coming down table, and it looks like he has left Sigel a cuttable shot on the 4. But how do you handle the cue ball? That's the problem.
I don't think he tries to. I don't think he'd even try to cut this in. I think he'd hit the edge of it and go back down table behind the 9.
Okay, if he was right-handed, how would the story read then?
Well, it's still a steep cut. He's a hit. He don't want to squander that.
Look, he is right-handed, and he's not going to cut, so you're right again.
He doesn't want to squander that lead. He wants to hit that thin enough to get behind the 9 instead of on top of it. If he gets on top of it, he wants to get directly on top of it.
Right. Is CJ trying to position? Well, he's trying to position the cue ball behind the 8, setting the 2 ball behind the 6, and he's done a very nice job of it.
If Mike can hit the rail before the 2, this is a makeable shot.
Okay, is there any way we can see the angle that Mike sees from the cue ball to the 6? Well, actually, he's laying his finger in front of the 2 near the rail, which suggests to us that he can possibly do this now.
Yes.
He can see the spot on the rail where he needs to hit to pocket the 2.
This is a lagging shot. This is the part he doesn't like. He overhit it. He hit it a little too thinly. CJ can whack into the lead here a little. Just come right across for the 6.
This young man from Dallas, Texas is quite a popular player, a lot of supporters. He has a lot of supporters here at Bell Gardens, California. A lot of people believe in him, the straight shooter from Dallas.
Oh. Oh, he used all of the pocket on that one. 2 rails out. Give him a 1 rail across the angle. Which he hit it great.
Well, C.J. Wiley is able to now once again narrow the gap with the score now being 7 for C.J. Wiley, 10 for the hook, Captain Hook. Is the Captain Hook of old? Is he back, or how's the jury see that?
Yeah. Leave it here when you get ready to leave.
He's broken the balls quite well, pocketing 2 balls on the break, and the balls are open. That was the key shot of the rack. Now he'll need to play position for the 4 in the same pocket as he pockets the 3 in.
This is a little tight. This is a little tight. If you can give me a shirt like that and a tie, would be appreciated. Well, if he wins a game and breaks and runs out, he makes catching up 2 at a time.
Well, like I mentioned, the table was very generously giving up balls on the break. Now, C.J. Wiley has a better break than Mike Sigel, so therefore he's going to pocket more balls on the break than Mike, and he's going to probably have more opportunities at the table shooting shots than Mike. Whether or not he can take advantage of the opportunities that he's presented with is another thing. But at this point in the match, he really hasn't done as well as Mike with opportunity. That's why he trails by 2 games, 8 games to 10. But his break is working, and when you have a good break, things have a tendency to turn around very quickly.
Yep, things go good for you. The break can be an enemy, or it can be a blessing.
I believe I heard a ball go in. I didn't see anything go in.
You heard
now
wrong.
I'm going to start counting. 1,
There's
2,
9
3,
there.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I see 9 balls. Where is the 2 ball? Is it the ball behind the 9?
I think it is.
I think the 2 ball is the ball behind the 9, and if it is the ball behind the 9, he's going to be very hard pressed to play position on the 2 and end up with a shot. Electing to take the only accessible route for position on the 2, pocketing the 1 in the corner, applying left-hand English to the cue ball, sending it up table toward the side pocket. And actually, that's the only area of the table that he could have gotten position on the 2, or for the 2.
Right.
1 cushion straight down table for position on the 3, and he'll probably end up playing position for the 3 in the side pocket here, buddy. What do you think? He'll be able to hit the ball a little firmer, increasing the accuracy. By hitting it a little firmer, he'll play position for the side. Well, he hit it a lot firmer and played position for the side or the corner, whichever he felt best on, or whichever he felt better on. Okay, now he's confronted with a decision. Do I go to the corner with the 3, or do I go to the side? If I go to the corner, the rest of the rack, it simplifies the remainder of the rack. If I go to the side, this shot is much more simple to execute, but position on the 4 becomes a little more precarious. I think that I will go for the corner, because I'm a good shot maker. I'm going to end this rack on this shot.
You missed it.
No, that's a bad sign. That was a type of a shot that he really shouldn't have had that much of a problem with. He certainly should have hit it a little bit better than he did.
Yes.
It was a decision. He was confronted with a decision. He went for the little tougher shot to simplify the remainder of the rack. I myself would have done the same. CJ's back at the table. With this rack, with this game, he can come within 1 game of the lead. And he does. That's the 3rd consecutive game. That's the 3rd consecutive game that CJ has won. He trailed in the match at one time, 6 games to 10. Now he trails only by 1 game in the match, 9 games to 10, and at the table breaking the balls. And at this point of the match, the way I see it, it's a relatively even match. Considering how generously the table has been giving up balls on the break, one would have to say the match is dead even from this point on.
Yes, they would. Nothing?
Nothing?
Dry.
Okay, well, but he's really surprised because he has broken the balls well the last few times he's broken them, and he's come up dry. So now the generous table is showing a little bit of obstinance by not giving up balls, and that sure changes the complexion of things, doesn't it? Quite quickly.
I believe Michael just banked this ball across the corner, that angle, hitting it to the end rail up here and taking the cue ball back down table.
Well,
he's thinking about digging in on the cue ball there.
Well, maybe the speed that he has to hit the 1 ball with to attain the distance that he needs doesn't really lay the way he would like it to.
He don't want to play the cue ball all the way down because he have to hit the 1 too hard to do that, but he wants to get it back past the 6.
How about if he would position the object ball, the 1 ball, near the nameplate and get the cue ball down the table?
Back past the 6, right.
Yes, using the 5, 7, and 8 as blockers.
He hit it too hard.
Well, he's run into the 6, and he's created a problem for himself, and now he's left an open shot.
He hit it too hard. He played it wrong. He used English on the shot. He shouldn't have used any English, and he shouldn't have hit it at that hard. Of course, it's easy to second guess up here. Oh, CJ has missed it.
He missed the ball, but he has really not left Mike a direct shot. The one ball is hanging in the corner pocket. Mike does have a kick at it. The position of the two ball at the other end of the table, kind of like behind offensive balls, the 3, 4, and the 6th. If he's able to pocket the one, he would have to be quite fortunate to attain some sort of a shot on the two.
Well,
but not if he
play 3 real position.
Yeah,
all the way to the end.
If he can come off the bottom cushion and pocket the one, there's a good chance it'll come up with a shot,
all the way to
on
the
two,
end,
which he's done.
Out.
Okay, look, he's positioned the cue ball in a very good area on the table for a shot on the two. Now, he really can't dwell on what's happened in the past few games. He had some opportunities, and he allowed them to slip by. He squandered them. And he really can't dwell on that. He has to take care of the business at hand, and that's running the balls, this particular rack. Well, he's out of line here on the 3.
Oh, boy, he's
starting to
very
struggle.
uncharacteristic of Mike.
He's starting to struggle a little bit, and I don't know what went through his mind prior to shooting the 2, because he really didn't get anywhere near the area that he wanted to get. I thought that he played position, at least I would have played position for the corner pocket. Same pocket he pocketed the 2.
He played 3 in the side off the 4. He double kissed it. That's what happened.
After hitting the 4, the cue ball double kissed it again.
Caught up with the 3 again.
This is starting to develop in this very, very close and interesting match.
Well hit.
Very nicely done. Excellent cue ball speed. Speed of the cue ball was crucial on that particular shot. C.J. Wiley handling it perfectly. And after this rack is concluded, we will then change tapes. But we'll be right back with you. That's 10 games apiece. Okay, I believe we were back in time to catch the break, and once again, C.J. Wiley has come up dry on the break. That's the 3rd consecutive rack that he's broken the balls and come up dry. Now, he has won 4 consecutive games. At one time in the match, Sigel had a 4-game lead, 10 games to 6. And now the two players are knotted up at 10 games apiece. This is a race to 3 to see who will play in the finals. This is guaranteed second place. That's excellent speed of the cue ball, I do believe. No, he's come up a little short of the mark, and he's allowed CJ to hit the 1. And now CJ has left Mike a shot on the 1. Now the problem with this rack, the way I see it immediately, is the 6 and the 7 tied up on the left-hand side of the table. But the 5 ball is positioned on near the bottom cushion, and it looks like there's a good possibility if he attains the correct angle on the 5, he can go into the 6 and the 8. The 6 may go into the side pocket.
Yeah, I believe he has room to come in. I believe his problem is the 2 to the 3.
The man to respond definitely is here for Mike Sigel. He did at one time lead in the match 10 games to 6. It's knotted up, and he's confronted with a pretty tough situation. Now he's got himself in
3 to the 4 is going to be tough.
A pretty tough position from getting from the 3 to the 4. He doesn't really like it. That's pretty hard, and he hopes he stops quickly. But if he doesn't stop, well, it looks like he's overrun his mark. I don't know by how much.
I believe he's okay.
The problem with this, buddy, if he hits the 8 ball too fully, he's not going to get very much movement off the cue ball after contacting the 8, and he needs to get back down table for position on the 5. If getting back down table close to the 5 will give him an option. The option he'll have then is either to play the 6 in the side, if it goes in the side, or break open the 6 from the 7. Now he has an angle on the 5 possibly to do either. Playing position for the 6 in the side may be a little touchy
right
from
here.
this angle.
It is touchy right here.
The 6 will go in the lower right-hand corner, so he could possibly play position to go into the cushion and brush the 7 maybe a little bit.
He's following it.
Okay, he's elected to go into the 6, and he's ended up with a very difficult shot on the 6. He's lost 4 consecutive games. He's watched his 10-6 lead dwindle down to nothing. He's tied up 10 apiece. And he is looking at a very difficult situation in negotiating what he needs to do with the 6, and can he do it. If you go for the cut on the 6, what happens to the cue ball?
The cue ball goes down table and the 7 comes across. You got to whack it if he shoots it like this. He's got to hit it. He's got to come on with the cue ball. He's got to come around.
If he cuts the 6 into the corner pocket, there's a chance, at least the way I see the shot, he'll hit the 7 very full, and he won't get as much movement from the cue ball as much movement from the cue ball as he needs. He played the safety there. He definitely played the 2-cushion safety. And CJ is going to get out his jump stick here. There's no question in my mind what he's about to do. And can you explain to the viewers exactly how well he uses the jump cue?
Well, I don't really know how well he uses it. I know he uses it. Here he has a problem. He has to keep his toe on the floor. I mean, if his foot leaves the floor in the shot, it's a foul. And if you're not conscious of that, you have a tendency to leave the floor with it. And he may not be conscious of that because he's going to have to climb up on the table in order to use his jump cue. Here he comes. Here he comes.
Okay, well, he was in a pretty precarious position with his body and also naturally with the cue ball.
Very tough.
And he wasn't able to get over the 7 with the cue ball.
Very tough.
This is exactly what the hook needed, by the way. I mean, he's watched his lead dwindle away to nothing.
Yes.
And at one time in this rack, CJ looked like he was going to have a chance to win it. And when he had his jump cue out, Mike hasn't really been executing well at all the past 3 or 4 games. He's had opportunities. Squandered them.
Yes, he has.
Game number 21 does go to Mike Sigel, who once again takes the lead in the match, with the score now being 11 games for Sigel and 10 games for Wiley.
That doesn't look good. Does not look good.
Okay, he hasn't come up with a ball on the break, and it does look like he's left some sort of a shot on the one. Can he hit enough of the one to pocket it in the corner pocket? It looks like he can. He seems quite comfortable at the table, so therefore that's certainly an indication.
He has to be careful trying to come around here. He could hit this ball on the nut. Well, he hit it perfect.
Well, I don't know if he's gotten down table far enough. He's going to have to use the corner pocket now, it looks like. Does the 4 pass the 8 into the corner pocket?
Yeah, the 4 passes the 8, but getting back down there makes the 7 a big ball. Oh. Boy, he shot it a little differently.
And he hit a little harder than he wanted.
He's okay.
Yeah, he's okay. He'll just come cross table for position on the 5. This match once again looks like it's going to be tied up. Okay, he wants to come down a little further. Now, if he's straight in enough to stop the ball, that's what he'll do. Looks like he has a little bit of an angle, and a little more of an angle here than he wants may be very difficult to negotiate. Okay, realizing that he had to go down table and use inside English, he went right to it and did it well. Oh my, oh my. Now that is his pure carelessness, and that's where that extra experience comes into play.
Wow.
I tell you, that is pure carelessness. But we expect that once in a while from the young man from Dallas because of how quickly he shoots when he's at the table. He hasn't really given up Mike that good of a shot, but any shot for Mike right now, Mike's really delighted to have.
There's the story. He's not happy.
Now Mike can cut this in, buddy, and now he has a chance to prove to the viewers how good of a shot maker he actually is, because I feel he'll go for the cut here. This demands a very thin hit. Very thin hit. If he's able to cut the 8...
This is a very tough shot here.
Yeah, but he's dead on the cushion, and he's down on the ball. He doesn't like the way he feels.
He's going to take his ring off.
But he's delighted. He's delighted to have a shot on the 8. You know, it isn't that he put himself in this position. If you put yourself in this position, you figure to be less accurate shooting the shot. But if you're given this gift, I feel then you should be a little more accurate shooting the shot. Wow. Oh, he went for the bank. He went for the bank, and he's left CJ a very difficult shot. And what actually complicates the shot even more, or adds more difficulty to the shot, he has to stretch. Okay, he's left himself a fairly good shot on the 9, and now once again this match looks like it's going to get tied up. And it is, 11 games apiece. You mean to tell me Mike didn't have the option to cut the 8 and he only had the bank?
He could have cut it. Looked like he had a cut shot on it. He just liked the bank better.
I kind of like the cut better. I don't know. Maybe the bank was a better shot, but it was a close call. But the man at the table is the guy in charge. He makes the calls, and he elected to bank the ball. 11 games apiece in favor of no one. Match is tied up. A lot of excitement out there right now. A lot of electricity in the air. People here in attendance seem to be enjoying the match. Okay, it doesn't look like he's going to pocket anything on the break. Now, once again, Mike Sigel has an opportunity back at the table.
Mike has had a lot of opportunities. He just, for some reason or other, just as uncharacteristic as it is, he just hasn't taken advantage of them.
2 ball to the left of the 5, 3 ball cross table near the right-hand side pocket. The problem that I see in the rack is getting from the 3 to the 4. If he can get from the 3 to the 4, he should be able to walk away with this rack. That's the problem, this rack, getting from the 3 to the 4. He could just draw back slightly and go 3 cushions around table, but he would like to draw all the way back, then go 4 with the cue ball, which would probably give him more options. But he has a decision to make, and he has to make it now.
Mm-hmm.
He's elected to go deep. Now he'll be able to go forward with the cue ball, which will give him more options. He can force it and play position for the 4 in either the lower corner or the
He may
side.
stick it and play for the combo.
I don't know. It's
It,
a tough decision.
the way it lays, it looks to me like it's a stick.
The way it lays like I don't want to stick it and play the combination. I want to try to go by the 4.
But can I?
But to go by the 4, I'm going to have to hit it hard and with a certain stroke. And if I mishit it a little bit, I may just end up out of position entirely. So it's a kind of a difficult shot not only to execute, but to make a decision on. See, he didn't want the stick. He wanted to go by the 4. Now he has to bank the 4. He's created yet another problem for himself. See, he didn't want to lose the cue ball by going by the 4 too far. So therefore, what happens? He ended up falling short of the mark. He hasn't really responded well to the pressure here late in the match. I'll tell you what, a bad shot wouldn't be just to play safe here off the 4, cutting the 4, sending the cue ball up toward the bottom left-hand corner, hoping that the 4 would come out enough not to be able.
He's going to bank it.
Well, this is really haphazard, I would think. You know, he has to stretch.
He's playing a 6-2.
He's going into the balls. And I don't like his decision there, really. I didn't like his decision banking the ball. I liked playing the safety up to the bottom left-hand corner pocket with the cue ball, not giving up a shot on the 4, and letting CJ work with that position. Now CJ has a much more workable position, and he has control of the table. Okay, he's played himself out of position.
He may have hooked himself.
No, he didn't hook himself. He has the lower right-hand pocket available. He's played himself out of position for the pocket that he wanted, the lower left. He cannot pocket the 5 in the lower left, but he can pocket it in the lower right. Now look, he's trying to spin it in the lower left. Can he do it?
He was straight in.
Apparently I was wrong.
He was straight in.
No, this isn't really a hanger here. He's going to have to go back now. He would like to go into the 9. Going forward, he's going around the 9. Well, that was quite simple. And it looks like C.J. Wiley will be the first player to reach the hill. And he does. 12 games to 11. Well, Mike has had his chances. He has had his chances. Well, neither player has been productive off the break in the last half of the match. And Mike hopes it continues. CJ has a different thought. Well, there goes the 9. He's pocketed a ball on the break. There comes the 8 in between the cue ball and the 1 ball, not allowing CJ to have a shot. So the suspense and the intensity of the match is now even intensified more with what has just happened. I guess he's playing some sort of a safety here. Trying to position the cue ball behind the 9. Well, he almost got there, and I believe he has left some type of a shot for Captain Hook. Here we go, he said. He has a shot. The 2 ball positioned to the left of the 7 near the side pocket. I don't know how many pockets he has to play position on the 2 for. It kind of looked like he played that side of the pocket. You know, even if he pockets the 1, buddy, he's not guaranteed to come up with the shot on the 2.
Yeah.
He was able to open up the 2 from the 7, but at the same time he tied up the 5 and 9 at the other end of the table. So therefore, the person who ends up with the first shot still has a lot of work ahead of him.
CJ's surveying. Here we go.
He's going to scratch. Mike wanted the 1 to go into the 5, opening up the 5 and the 9. That wasn't the case, though. He still has some work, and he's saying to himself, "Oh my, why does it have to be this tough? Why does it have to be this tough? How am I going to deal with the 5-9? You can't deal with it off the 1. Maybe you can deal with it off the 1. Maybe this is the time to deal with it. Playing the 1 in one of the pockets, hitting to the right of the 5. If you happen to hit the 5, great, you're in line for the 2. I would then deal with it right now. I would deal with the 5-9 now. Sending the cue ball very close to the 5. If I hit the right of the 5, fine, I open it up. If I miss it, I have position for the 2. I would deal with the 5-9 now. How would you deal with the 5-9 now, buddy?
Well, I don't know. See the 2. If he deals with the 5-9 right now, if he happens to hit the 5 a little too full, he could be hooked on the 2. I believe I would deal with it. I believe I would deal with the combination. I wouldn't worry about anything. I'd just try to make the combination when I got to it. I'd play position for the combination. Or if it lays properly, he can maybe play 2 rails for the billiard. He could play 2 rails for the safety and lock it up pretty good that way.
He's playing for the combination. He's made up his mind. He already went ahead and he lined it up twice with his stick, and he said, if I get here, I like the combination. If I get here, I like the combination. He's talking himself into playing the combination. He passed up the opportunity to open the 5 from the 9 on the 1. So he made up his mind at that time that he was going to go all out and play position for the combination.
He's overhit it.
If the combination is makeable, he looks like he's gotten a pretty good line on it. Now what he needs to be concerned with, if he pockets the 5-9 combination, what's going to happen to the cue ball after the 5 goes to the bottom cushion? It may hit the cue ball again, and who knows where the cue ball will go then. Let's get a good shot of the combination. Okay, this match is tied up at 12 games apiece. There has to be a tremendous amount of pressure on both of the players out there now. 12 games apiece. Sigel breaking the balls, but the player that has been breaking the balls hasn't liked it in the last half of the match because no one has been pocketing balls on the break. CJ did the last rack, but he was hooked. But of course, you would want to be the breaker. But the way Pat keeps stats on the break, it certainly indicates to us from the results of his stats that I would rather be the guy in the chair because for some strange reason, the breaker is at a disadvantage, believe it or not. It's a paradox. It's strange, but it's true. Well, the corner ball went directly into the corner pocket. The 1 ball took its place in front of the side. The 2 crossed table from the 1. Quickly, I don't know how many balls are behind the 9. I'm working off the monitor here. Just the 5 ball? Okay, now the 3 is up table, so therefore he's going to have to go from the 1 to the 2, up table for the 3, and then down table for the 5.
He has to hit the cue ball here with a peculiar stroke. He has to hit it with a low right-hand cue ball. He has he has to go to the side rail, the end rail, and back up this side.
And he's elevating.
And he's elevating. It's a peculiar. Well, he's hitting the cue ball high.
He's going to go between the 7 and 8.
Well, he's playing position for the corner.
That's very nicely done, not only with the direction, but the speed. Speed was crucial also. So therefore, he'll be the first one to have an opportunity to run the balls. Okay, hitting it hard enough to go 2 cushions, or go 1 cushion, creasing. Now he'll have to just lag this in. Right now he's trying to determine where he needs to be on the 5.
I'd play position on the 5 right here.
I don't know. It's going to be, I don't know if I would do that if you don't pocket the 3.
Oh, that's what I say. I would have played position on the 5 right then.
This is tough. This is
Tough.
I agree with what you said. But now this is tough. If at all possible, he could go rail first using the bottom cushion, which would send him up table.
He's got to draw it straight back.
Either draw it straight back or go rail first. Rail first is risky. Rail first using the bottom rail first may be the right shot. But drawing it straight back, if executed, what is he doing here?
Getting hooked is what he's doing there.
I don't understand that shot. I do not understand why he elected to shoot that shot in the fashion that he did.
He's going to try to stick him behind the 9.
I don't understand that shot. I mean, I'll never be able to understand that shot.
Boy. He'll play behind the 9 here, or try to play behind the 9.
I don't understand what happened. Why did he draw it back? Sticking it behind the 9's a problem, because where's the 5 going? The 5's got to go somewhere around in the direction of the 9.
Yeah.
How can he do this to himself? He had 2 options that I could see, which were better than what he opted to do. One was to go to the bottom cushion first, then hitting the 3, going up the side cushion about 2 to 3 feet. Then he has a nice shot on the 5.
Or draw it back.
Or
there.
draw it straight back. He played himself out of position by going cross table. All the while he's out of position until he reaches a small area, then he's back in line. So therefore, I just really didn't like. Well, that's Captain Hook for you, okay? I really feel for C.J. Wiley, because if either player really deserves coming away with the win in this particular match, I feel strongly that it should have been C.J. Wiley, because he was the player that was facing the adversity throughout the entirety of the match. He came back on Sigel, trailing 6-10, and Sigel had opportunities to close him out, which he didn't. But despite his inability to close Wiley out when he had the opportunities, he was still able to come away with the victory.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're still on the air. But this match started 2 hours behind schedule, so therefore it's kind of hectic out there right now. And
I ever played in my life. I played good in spurts. Do you believe
Okay,
that?
Mike Siegel's just walked into the booth. Okay, you really have to consider yourself extremely fortunate to have come away with the win here against C.J. Wiley. You started out playing really well in the match, and then you went into like a valley there. As soon as you got 10 games, it looked like you refused to do anything.
Yeah, and then all
point.
of a sudden, I can't remember what it was to go ahead. What was it, 11-6? Something happened. I can't remember, a big game. He won like 2 or 3 games in a row. Then, well, of course, now he misses the 8, right? I made a couple of mistakes, but he misses the 8, and I thought I played that bank just to kind of pace it in. That was a big game. Now I go ahead 12-10. Then he goes ahead, and well, you saw what happened there. I mean, I played it. I just got careless on the 3-6. If I hang the 3 anywhere, right, just roll it in, then I'm out, because the 5, the 7, and 8, and 9 all go in the same pocket. Well, you're right. I was lucky. But I feel it's in the stars. I mean,
well, when you
even
shot
though you went off, I mean,
when you shot the
you?
3, when you shot the 3 in the side pocket, playing position for the 4, you came up short because I think you were afraid a little bit of losing the cue.
Yeah, I could have just played the 3 easy and played the 4-6, but all I got to do is go down. I can either play it up in the corner, maybe bank it cross side. The ball stopped, and I just got aggravated. You know, with that game. You know, it is. I mean, I'm just now. I mean, I just feel like my head feels like strange.
It's
understandable. My stroke feels real good.
It's understandable that you were nervous out there, but now you're in the.
The only time I was nervous was the last game. The other time I wasn't nervous. I mean, I'm playing. The only time my heart started pumping was the very last game.
Now, which brings up a question of interest to me and also to Buddy. On the last game, you played the 3-6 combination. At that time, you had an opportunity to play position for the 5 by pocketing both the 3 and the 6 on the same shot.
No. All I had to do is hang it, because I can't hit it that hard. No, I didn't think they would both go in. The 6 was hanging wide. If I just hang the ball and shoot it easy, I played a 5, I come anywhere in the center of the table or near the side pocket, I just spin the 5 in, and the 7, 8 all go in the same pocket where the 5 is.
Okay, fine. Okay, now that you shot,
when I made the 1, I knew I was out. I was over.
Let's get back to the 3-6. You hung the 3 after pocketing the 6. Now, the way we saw it, you had 2 options. Okay, my shot was this, which was a little more haphazard than Buddy's. My shot was to hit bottom cushion first, going into the 3, sending the cue ball up table along the side cushion.
No, the 3 was too deep for that.
Okay, the 3 was too deep for that. I didn't see the angle that you saw. Deep. The other option that we saw that you had was to draw the 3, sending the cue ball up the table.
I couldn't do that either. I would have drawn it towards the other side pocket. You follow me? The point was in the way. I couldn't do that.
You know what I thought the shot was?
No, I had the right shot. I just
what I thought with the shot was when you were shooting the 3-6 combination is play position on the 5 right then.
No. Well, I mean, all I had to do was just roll it in. Here's what I was thinking. As I'm stroking, I said, should I do that? What should I do? I said, I'll just shoot, and that's what I did. I didn't make a plan. I should have just rolled in and real easy, tapped the 6.
Okay, we went over that earlier anyways. You said that wasn't available. In the meantime, you did walk away with the win, and I'm certainly sure
Looks like
you're
gonna win.
really happy about it. We're running out of tape right now. You're going into the finals. You don't have a preference who it may be with, do you, right now? You don't care?
Not really.
Okay, fine. Congratulations, really. I don't mean to rush. It's very hectic right now. We're 2 hours behind schedule. Congratulations in your match against C.J. Wiley, and good luck in your upcoming match, no matter who may be with in the finals. Okay, Buddy, it's been a pleasure once again. We're both kind of tired, and we have to do a few things before the next match starts. So, in behalf of Buddy Hall, thanks a lot for. This is Bill Incardona saying thanks a lot for supporting Accu-Stats. 1-800-828-0397. We'll be right back with Davenport and Wiley.